saints. You're revising saints, or at least I hope you are. But then I guess if you're watching the video, you must be. So, names of saints. St. John Bosco, like our college. Mother Teresa, Saint Mother Teresa, who did a lot of work for the poorest of the poor in Kolkata. Saint Oscar Romero, who again worked for the poor and stood up for justice to the cost of his own life in El Salvador. And then if you were to go around the world and you ask all Catholics, what's your favourite saint? Tell me your 5 favourite saints. They'd all name Saint Francis of Assisi somewhere in their top 5. Now, what is a saint? A saint is someone who lives a good moral life. So they're living by the laws of God. They won't be lying, they won't be cheating, they won't be stealing, they won't be disrespectful to their mum and dad, they won't take God's name in vain. And you might be sitting there thinking, oh, it's boring. Anyway, that's the life of a saint. Let me tell you, it's not boring. Read some of the lives of the saints, you find their lives are probably more interesting than most of ours. So are they perfect? No, they're human beings like you and me. They're not perfect, but they try really, really hard to live by the laws of God. Now, if you are recognized by the church as a saint, it does not mean that they've only just lived a good life and done good things in their life. It means they've also developed a close bond, a close relationship with God, and they've done that through prayer. When you live a good life and you remain close to God, it means you become holy. And when you are holy, people recognize you as being a saint, and rightly so. That means, if you think about it logically, the world is full of saints. Think of your grandparents, think of your parents, think of, well, maybe not parents, some of you would be falling out of them. But yes, your parents can be saints, even if you don't always agree with them. You could be a saint because God calls everyone to be holy. God calls everyone to be a saint. But the church will only pick a few people to recognize officially as saints so that we have role models that we can look up to. Before declaring that someone is a saint, and by the way, the person's got to be dead, the church will start a process, and there are 4 steps. The first step is that the local people who knew the person who they considered a saint will contact the bishop and just say, look, you got to look into this person's life. They were absolutely amazing. They were a saint. And the bishop will check it out. And then if he agrees with them, he'll contact Vatican and he says, right, you need to take over now and you need to look to see, is this person really a saint? And then that is the first stage. And the person is called servant of God. Who else a servant would they be? Then the Vatican will look very, very carefully into the life of the person. And if their life passes their very rigorous checks, the checks carried out by the Vatican, and they call all sorts of people in to make sure that this person truly lived a saintly life, then the person will be called venerable by the Pope. And that is stage 2. The third stage is when the church looks for a miracle. And they look for a miracle that has taken place after the person has died. And it's got to be a miracle where somebody prayed to this saint and only to this saint for a miracle, and the miracle happened. And then they will say, yes, this miracle belongs to this person. It proves to us that this person must be close to God and that they must be in heaven. And so then the church will declare them blessed. Now the last stage. Obviously, I said there were 4 stages and we've done 3, and you'd have worked it out for yourself. One more miracle for this last stage needs to have taken place after the person became blessed. And as soon as that miracle takes place in their name, the Pope will then be ready to canonize them as an officially recognized saint of the Church. I'm going to tell you now about Carlo Acutis, who died in 2006, and he was a web designer. and he's now in the process of being declared a saint. We're recording this in 2024, and so he's passed 3 stages. So he's now Blessed Carlo Acutis, and his second miracle was recognized by the Pope on the 23rd of May this year. And so he will be ready to be canonized next year, 2025, by the Pope. How amazing is that? Blessed Carlo Acutis was an extraordinary young man. He realized when he went to receive Holy Communion at Mass that he was truly receiving the body and blood of Christ. And therefore he lived his life accordingly, knowing that he was full of Christ within him. I can't even press the correct key on the keyboard, but he designed computer websites. Incredible. And one of his famous phrases was, "All people are born as originals, but many die as photocopies." In other words, don't follow the crowd. Live your life as the unique person God made you to be. So God bless you. Go be a saint.